Golf's hard, so take some joy in watching me put up a stinker of a round as a 7 handicap. We're in Las Vegas, and the first omen of this being a bad round is that I'm so late to the tee that I have Daryl hand-holding the camera here after the rest of my group is already halfway up the hole. I hit this one well, but ultimately it winds up in a fairway bunker 100 yards out from the hole. And with the amount of upper body movement in my crappy backswing, consistency of strike is an issue for me, and it's no surprise that I catch this one fat and still leave myself with a wedge in. But this is the part of the game where I typically excel. I've played so much pitch and putt that I'm usually dialed from here. But this one runs right through the green, and after seeing that, and with 0 time on the practice green, I'm thinking this will be a pacey putt. But no. It's my 4th consecutive bad shot to start the round. And I still give this one too much respect. And just like that, we start the day with a double on stroke hole 15. But it's a great strike here on 2. Although sadly on this line, it goes straight into the desert.
I wonder if I just overshot everything.
Which fortunately plays as a penalty area rather than OB here. But from this position, I don't even have a line to the green, and the best I can do is hit a hybrid just short. But would you look at that? Another crappy wedge, followed by a long look at bogey. And I'm still giving these greens a bit too much respect here. And at this point, we're pacing for a solid 108 through 2 holes. But oddly enough, I was able to make par or better on half of the holes out here today.
Thanks. Get a kick off the hill, please. Kick it!
And we find our first one after hitting a decent tee shot on this tough par 3. And finally I get the pace better on this tricky lag putt up the hill. And it's a straightforward, green in regulation, 2-putt par.
The YouTubers get very angry when they don't see them go in.
The 4th hole makes suckers out of players who try to drive the green. Anything short falls into a nasty cross bunker, so I opt for a 200 club down the fairway, and leave myself just a flip wedge in. But of course, this one finds its way right into that nasty bunker. But there are a lot of ways to make par out there. This one checks up and turns right towards the hole, and despite a brutal approach, suddenly we've stacked together back-to-back pars.
Thanks. Try to just hit a 3-wood in play.
The 5th is another that demands some decision-making off the tee. It's 240 to carry the bunkers on the left, but the reward doesn't seem worth it compared to hitting one up the right, where the fairway runs out at about 270. So it's just a smooth 3-wood into play, and on to 170 in. But sadly, this one's a push towards the right side of the green.
Oh, I didn't hit that well. Big block.
Where it gets a bad bounce.
Oh, got a brutal kick. Stop rolling. Okay, it's alive.
My blind pitch into the green isn't a whole lot better, but at least we haven't lost a stroke to a penalty on this hole. And this one will actually give me a look at escaping with the par.
Oh,
But not quite.
thanks.
We'll settle for bogey.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm hitting 155 as well.
At home in Vancouver, my 7-iron is a 155 club. But from an elevated tee in the desert heat, I'm thinking it's the right stick here. And even after a mediocre strike,
I didn't hit that very well. Go!
it does wind up past the hole. But this is not a good putt.
Well, that wasn't very good.
And this one is even worse.
Oh my god.
We're back on a bogey train, but another strategic club choice here leaves me in position on this narrow par 4. And with just a wedge in here,
Oh, I didn't hit that very well.
I hit another stinker. But of the 9 pars I made today, 5 of them were accomplished by successful greenside scrambles. This chip gives me a chance, and for the first time today, I've made a putt.
Thanks.
And with that one under my belt, let's take a second to talk about golf instruction.
So that was dog shit. So let's take a second to talk about swing tweaks. A lot of people hit bad golf shots like that. Then they go down a YouTube rabbit hole of generalized instruction trying to figure out what they did wrong. Don't do that. See a golf professional to get a golf lesson. And if you don't have time, or you don't want to go to the expense of doing it in person, queue up swing tweaks. $30, send a video of your swing just like I did, and you'll have a PGA Pro send you back an annotated video showing you what's going on with your golf swing, drills to work on. Use my code for 20% off. Get going with swing tweaks.
Full details are in the description, and be sure to use the code BEASCRATCH to get 20% off your first tweak. My drive has found another fairway bunker, and after fatting one out of the last one, I'm happy to put a good strike on this one, and leave myself just a wedge in on this par 5.
Okay, 116, uphill but downwind.
But for the first time today, the wind's becoming a factor. and I know right away that this one's moving.
Oh, get down. Get down. Down. That went so far.
It's on to another bunker, where I thought I'd hit a good one, but...
Oh, too much check.
And forgive Daryl for blocking our view here just a bit. He'll concede the bogey to me in the match, but I'll knock it in just for you.
Oh, the fadeaway. 560 into wind is about as long a hole as I'll ever play. They say smooth, easy.
But fortunately, this is my best of the day.
Yeah, thanks. That was hit well. Somewhere around 310. Might have fun here. Yeah, let's have fun.
And while this looks like crap, it runs along the ground a good 180, which probably isn't much different than I would have done hitting a 3-wood into this wind.
I'll take it. It was along the ground the whole time. Okay, so 130 here. We're into so much wind. I'm going to try to hit kind of a punchy 155 club. Oh, wow.
But this is another bad shot to add to the tally on the front. Before my final one here. I need this to go to have the hole in the match. But I ram it by.
Boy, I've kind of been blasting them because
And we'll close the 9 with yet another bogey. Not much to write home about on the front 9. Only 2 greens in regulation, 2 double squares, and a whole lot of poor shots. Let's see if we can do any better on the back. Which is a bit of a microcosm of this round.
Oh, that was not where I was aiming.
Maybe not a perfect drive, but one in play. Followed by good decision making over the approach shot.
Okay, so it's 177, stiff into it. I'm thinking 190 club.
And then a piss poor strike.
That was not good contact, but it might get all the way there. Well, great outcome from a terrible golf shot.
So I'm forced to try to bail myself out with the flat stick. My speed control's improving, and despite these being good in the match, I'll knock this in to start the back with a par. And after a great drive on stroke hole 2 here, onto some decision making over the approach.
Okay, so I've got 191. This has got to be at least a 2 club win. So yeah, I'm hitting 3-wood, 220 club. Ball's a bit below my feet. Actually, it's a bit above my feet, I'm sorry. And on a downhill lie. So I'm going to aim at the left part of the green and kind of take a cutty swing with it. I drew it. That was the opposite of what we wanted.
That's a strong contender for my worst shot of the day, and certainly my biggest miss.
Okay.
I'm lucky that it's still on the golf course, but with no backswing and a terrible lie, my next shot finds a bunker, where I actually hit a gem.
Thanks.
And I should escape this hole with just a bogey. But man, it's another crap one here, and we're 10 over through 11.
All right, so no blood between us.
I could give up on the round at this point, but 10 over is actually about my scoring average, and there's no reason I can't string together some solid scores down the stretch. Starting here, where my 7-iron proves to be a bit too much club, leaving me a testy chip, which gets a bit unlucky.
Boy, that's what I was trying to do. You're going into the hole is what you're doing.
But some positive self-talk here, followed by a confident stroke, helps secure a par.
I think that'll be okay. A big banked hill.
I've just mentioned that the banked hill on the left here should feed everything back to the fairway, but this one gets hung up in the rough, leaving me a wedge in with the ball below my feet. It's a decent strike, and once again leaves me putting from the fringe. And after some early struggles with distance control on these, this one actually almost finds the back of the hole.
Nice.
And for the first time since the 4th hole, I've strung together back-to-back pars. And I'm a bit relieved standing on the tee of this par 5. Despite the length, par 5s are statistically my best scoring holes. It's a good drive, followed by a bit of a scuzzy 3-wood that nonetheless leaves just a wedge in. The pitch finds the putting surface for my first green in regulation since the 6th hole. And the birdie putt is good for pace, but...
Oh, it went right. I never had that.
And Daryl will give me this one for par. On to 15. This hole plays massively uphill, and even a good drive only gets about 210 up the hill. And now, get your popcorn, because this is where the wheels fall off.
Oh, I yanked it because I was trying to hit it hard. Whoa!
This winds up in one of the worst lies I've ever seen on the golf course.
Oh my goodness.
And with no commentary needed, I give you this.
I buried it deeper. This ball's never going to move now.
There's really nothing left to do but laugh here. I'm not good enough to get angry, and sometimes the golf course just throws difficult lies your way.
Well, yeah, partner, I think this hole's on you now.
I won't let it ruin my day, and more importantly, I don't want to pout and ruin the day for my playing partners. I finally get one out here, leaving myself a long lag putt. At the time, I didn't even know what this was for, but true to the mercurial nature of golf, I actually managed to hit a decent one, and after the disaster in the bunker, I clean it up for a tidy 9. So my dreams of reeling in a good score may be done today, but thanks to match play, I still have a game going on with Daryl, and I'll get right back on the horse on this intimidating tee shot on the par 316.
Oh, Cuddy. Go!
And I get a great kick after a bit of a miss here, and this is my best look at birdie today.
Oh! Oh, I thought that was good the whole way.
But no good. And on to 17. Another par 5, and another mediocre strike. But I'll remind myself of the most important thing to remember on a par 5.
3-shotter anyway.
It'll take 3 shots to get there, and a mediocre strike or 2 is okay, so long as we keep the ball in play. This strike is much better than the last, leaving just a wedge in. But apropos of my round today, it's a horrible strike.
I hit that so effing poorly.
With a lucky outcome.
Oh, it got there.
And on to one final look at birdie. This one, I thought I had. But I'll have to settle for par. Believe it or not, my match with Daryl is still going, and I start 18 with a pretty decent drive. And this one, I thought I'd get away with, but it fades a bit and catches a nasty kick into a bunker. We've got a solid crew on this Vegas trip, and my team is pretty happy with this one. And this putt is to win the match with Daryl.
All day. Good match, I'll swear, yeah.
But it's not meant to be. But like I said, golf is hard. I have it in me to par every hole out here, but sometimes you have to roll with the punches when you're playing poorly. Oddly enough, the very next day I put together a much more solid outing, and that video is coming up later this week.